Welcome to another edition of Greenboard Weather. All right, so we have a green board, and of course we have some weather, so let's get into it. So I want to start off with updating our snow ruler like we do at the beginning of every episode, and it didn't snow this past week. We got a trace of snow, but nothing measurable, so not updating the snow ruler just yet. If you're curious, the average last day of measurable snowfall in the WNEP backyard isn't for another month. On average, it happens in middle April, so we may still be adding to this. Calm down. Winter's not over just yet, but it's certainly feeling like it. So I want to put a timeline here. The St. Patrick's Day Parade in Scranton is obviously this weekend, and I want to show you what it's been like in past years and compare it to this year. So I'm going to start off with 2021. This year it got delayed due to the pandemic. It actually got pushed to September. So I'll put a note. It was actually in September, and it was in the 70s. How nice. They got pushed. Okay, so like every St. Patrick's Day parade is like in the 70s. It's nice. No, in 2022, it was actually canceled for a week, and they pushed it back. And the next week, it ended up being in the 70s with some clouds. That's my cloud icon there. So not that bad in 2022. We're talking about two pretty good St. Patrick's days in a row. Just got to push them back just a little bit. 2023, it was in the 30s? Okay, not bad. Not bad. But a coating of snow. So, not ideal. But hey, people are out there. It wasn't a lot of snow, right? So, yeah, we got a coating of snow in 2023. In 2024, it was in the 40s. But that day, there was an inch of rain. So, it was very rainy throughout the day. So, that's not good at all. What about last year? Last year, it was in the 30s. Okay, not bad. And they had flurries. Now, I don't know how to draw snowflakes when it comes to just normal. So what I usually do is I like drawing either stars, or then I try to branch it out and do like this type of stuff, but it just ends up not working out. So this is what the past St. Patrick's Day parades have looked like in Scranton. What are we expecting this year? So I want to flip the board and show you the green board, what we are expecting coming into this year. Maybe I should, sometimes I need to make these lines thicker, because the whiteboard doesn't always, but we got it. So what happened the other day was a cold front passed in, and that's what settled in that brutally cold air. Now that cold front is well off the eastern seaboard. That cold air had that cold push of air where temperatures went from the 70s on Wednesday, and then today we're going to be in the 40s. So that's the effect of this cold front that pushed through, bringing back the Arctic air into our area. Something interesting that happened with this cold front, by the way. Okay, so we had a whole bunch of things. So as this front passed in from northwest to southeast, there were 32 tornado reports, including, unfortunately, a fatal tornado in Indiana, in northern Indiana, where it was 32 tornado reports happened. So this was a powerful system for us. We only saw minor wind damage, if that, and that was mainly for the south end of the state. So there is that. Down there with that warm air, Naples, Florida was in the 90s. Washington, D.C. was in the 80s. In fact, something else that's cool that happened, a record happened in Washington, D.C. It was the warmest temperature ever to also have snow in the same day. It was 77 degrees at midnight. The cold front came in. It conjoined with moisture real quick, so it was 77 degrees the same day of snow. So imagine that report is like, oh, 77 degrees today, and it was snowing. Oh, that's an error. It can't be 77 and snowing. No, but that temperature happened early. It fell down to the 30s, and obviously cold enough for snow over there. Okay, so now what's happening for our area? What's happening next? I want to erase a little bit of this. Front passed in, and another front is passing in. This time there's a low pressure wave that's going to be riding over the Great Lakes. It is drawing in moisture as fronts do from the south. It's also collecting moisture from the Great Lakes, and it's going to spill some of that on us. But thankfully, the timing on this low pressure is going to be on Friday. So Friday, that's the snow day. There's going to be a line pretty much here between North Pennsylvania and South Pennsylvania. Depending on where it is the areas that are going to get more snow or more rain. By the time you're watching this, it's already happened, so I'm not going to dive that much deep into it. But with this, there's another cold front, another push of cold air along with it too. So this low is dragging another cold front in, and this is going to scoop up some moisture from Lake Erie and Lake Ontario as well. So for the parade, the moisture starts pushing in, it scoops up from the Great Lakes, and I think, especially in the northeast corner of the state, we'll be seeing a couple of snow flurries in northeast Pennsylvania. But the majority of us will see some sunshine, and it'll be cloudy, and with this low, the winds will also die down just a little bit. So the low is the main story for your Saturday. But Sunday, things change once again. We're in a very active pattern, so we're going to get the eraser. I'll leave it on the board now. So now we're back. A warm front is going to develop over the south region, and it's going to lift north. What do warm fronts do? Introduce warmer air. So this is going to move up, and then another area of low pressure is going to develop. This one's going to be a little bit further south, but it's going to track to the north and east. This one is also dragging a cold front with it, and this one is packing much colder air along with it. It's going to spill all the way down to the south. A lot of us are going to see that push of cold air. That's going to head our way, and along with it, there are going to be some rain showers. So on Monday, we went from the 70s to the 40s, and we're going to go probably not to the 70s. We're going to go to the 60s. And then Tuesday, after the front passes, or the board is shaking, we're going to go down to the 30s. So just this whiplash. From the 70s to the 40s to the 60s to the 30s, it's going to kind of be all over the place. And into Wednesday morning, it'll likely be in the teens. So Wednesday, AM, in the teens. But I'm going to depart you with good news at the end. Okay, so we're going to see 30s for highs. So our forecast high is going to be around 32. And Wednesday, it's going to be in the teens. Okay, the last day in Scranton where we see a high temperature of 32, it's March 13th, which is when I'm recording this, a Friday the 13th. And the last time you see a low in the teens, on average per year, is March 18th. So that's actually Wednesday's date, March 18th. So on average, we do warm up. We could still see some of these cold spells, but the averages are working in our favor here coming up. That's your edition of Whiteboard Weather. I didn't mention this, but you stay tuned to the end. Behind this cold front, we could see a couple snow showers that could accumulate snow. We just don't know that information right now 100%. But we'll be tracking a little bit of winter precipitation here. It starts off as a rain as the warm front lifts north and may end, because of that cool air coming in, some snow showers on the back end. Just keep that in mind. But that's the edition of Whiteboard Weather. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend. I'll see you later.